let's gather round. An adventure is always waiting. This storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughn Radio. I am Zanella Claxton from the Department of Education, and this morning, unfortunately, DeAndre is not here with us, but we want to give a huge shout out at the beginning of the show to DeAndre. He's not feeling so well, but DeAndre, we hope that you get better soon and that you're back on air with us next week. This morning we have a special guest, and our special guest is very special to me, but she is special, and she's bringing some important information, and we're going to have a very fruitful discussion this morning. And I need all teenagers, all adults, all parents, everybody to tune in. This morning we have in the studio with us
Shalicia Glassford.
all right. And Shalicia, you are representing a particular entity or organization, or you're just representing Shalicia Glassford?
Shalicia Glassford.
Okay, all right. All right. And so we've known you. You've come through the rungs of the Nivision education system, establishing and accomplishing some great feats. And so you're no stranger to our listening public. But before we go into greater detail as to why you're here, I want to take a few moments out just to congratulate some very important students and young people from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis who traveled to the Cayman Islands to participate in the Carifta Games last weekend. And particular congratulations to the 4x4 100-meter team, under 17 team. The members of that team were able to cop the bronze medal for that race, and we want to say good morning and kudos to all of them. And 3 of the 4 were from right here in Nevis. 3 of the 4 coming out of course, they're in our schools.
Yes.
And so we want to say special good morning to them, their coaches, their parents. It didn't happen overnight.
Exactly.
And so we're going to spend some more time towards the end of the show, making sure that we big them up again.
Of course.
But that is very important to start off, because we want to make sure we always highlight accomplishments.
Yes.
And it allows other students and other children to understand that this is possible.
Yes.
It is possible for me, even though I'm running now at grade 6. I can work consistently and assiduously towards a goal.
Exactly. It doesn't stay at interprimary.
It doesn't stay at inter-primary. It doesn't stay at inter-high.
Yes.
It doesn't stay at the Giant Malt Relays, or even the Titans Club has the relays, and other clubs have relays and activities and competitions. It doesn't stay there. You go on to Carifta, and then you set your eyes on 2020, because we have the Olympics coming up.
Yes.
And so there are so many things and so many opportunities, but you have to set your goals.
Yes.
And so I know, for instance, one of the athletes I know personally, and rain or shine, every single morning, I've never seen that level of commitment in a teenager. But every single morning he gets up and he runs. He works out, he warms up, he runs, he cools down. Every single morning. He doesn't eat certain things. He chooses what he eats. He makes sure that he goes he is always in preparation mode. And I think it's mostly because when I met him last year, I heard that he wanted to go to Carifta. And he has worked every day. And you don't see teenage boys doing that. But he had a goal.
Yes.
And so because it's always important to dream,
Yes.
it's always important to not dream but take it to the next level and actually set your goal.
Yes.
And then, of course, you have to take the steps, short-term and long-term steps, to reach those goals that you have set. And so this morning, Shalicia is here, for Shalicia, and she's going to share with us something very important. She's going to set the stage for why she's here and tell us a bit about an activity she has coming up. Parents, adults, everyone, tune in, listen in, lock in. You need to hear this.
Well, good morning again, Nevis. It's certainly always a pleasure being back over on Queen City, Nevis, in my hometown. And today I am so happy to be here. So thank you so much, Zanella, for having me on the Youth on the Go program. I was actually saying to someone yesterday that I grew up listening to the Youth on the Go program. It was always something that I looked forward to at 9 o'clock every single Saturday. And so to know years later, it's still the same song. I love the consistency. It's still the same song, and to know that I'm able to come back now in a different capacity. I think the first time I was on the show was when I was in grade 2. So I was just 8 years of age, and I was so excited to come on and to win a prize. I'm not sure if it was KFC vouchers or something was happening at that time, or kids meal.
You used to get 6 packs of soft drinks.
Yes. So
the good old days.
The good old days. So it's certainly so nice for me to be able to be back here in certainly a different capacity. So as Zanella would have mentioned, I am here to speak about an upcoming event that's going to be happening on June 1st, 2019, this year, and just in a few weeks. But just before I go into that, I just wanted to say that I also held the same event over on our sister island, St. Kitts, back in January, on January 12th, and it was certainly such a success. And I'm really hoping that it would also be the same thing here on Nevis. So basically, it's called a vision board party. So I wanted to sort of break down, because when people hear the word party, they're always like, well, what is this? What's going on? Am I going to be sending my child to some party? But I wanted to really make sure people understand what it is. So before I go into what a vision board party is, we need to first understand, well, what is a vision board? Right? And a vision board is basically a collage of all your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, everything that you want to achieve in your life. And as Zanella would have mentioned, it's important to set goals. The young man that would have made it to Carifta, he didn't just get up one day and say, oh, let me go to Carifta tomorrow. No, he would have visualized in his head this particular goal to be on the field. And then he would have put things in motion, making sure he's training properly in order to get there. So he would have made a plan. So a vision board basically is a plan of all the things you want to accomplish. And so we understand the importance of setting goals and writing them down. But a vision board takes it a little bit further, where we are saying we're not just writing down the things that we want to accomplish. We're not just at the beginning of the year deciding to make a Facebook post and tell the world all of our New Year's resolutions, because a lot of times we write these things down or we make a post on Facebook and that's it. We are into the hype. So everybody loves the hype. It's New Year's, it's fresh, and we just post everything.
Well, you must be, every New Year we talk about resolutions,
Yes.
and we talk about that same thing. It's the hype, but the important thing is to set manageable, realistic goals. And then, of course, taking the steps towards them. And the hype dies down fast.
The hype does, like the 5th of January,
Yes.
it's over.
Yes.
So the vision board now allows you to place those particular goals onto a collage, and not just words, visuals of those goals. So if it is you want to go to Carifta, you can put a picture of a field. If it is that you want to go to university, maybe you want to put a graduation cap or some sort of role. And it's just basically something that helps you to keep your goals in mind. So when you would have already put through all of your different goals, aspirations onto visuals, so photos of those things, you're placing this particular board in a prominent location in your life. Not on Facebook, in a Facebook post that you're not going to remember until Facebook reminders
A year later
tells you, but you're placing that, whether it's in your bedroom or in a work office, and constantly every single day you're looking at those goals. And so you're being reminded over and over, like, I want to go to Carifta, I want to go to university, I want to join a dance group, I want to do this, I want to do that. And so it's something that works a little bit more, and it's a little bit more effective because you're constantly being reminded of what it is. So that in itself is a vision board. We have persons like Steve Harvey, Oprah Winfrey, Ellen DeGeneres. These are all persons that support the idea because they realize that it's not just good enough for us to write things down, but we actually need to make game plans to get them, and we need to constantly remind ourselves and keep ourselves accountable to those particular goals as well. So that's what a vision board is. So then what is a vision board party? A lot of times we see things on Facebook or we see things online. We're watching a talk show and we're like, oh, this is great. We should do this. But we always never find the time to do the things that we know we really want to do. For example, when I decided to do my second vision board, I came back from the US because first of all, I was in a vision board party in Florida.
Okay.
So that's how I got the idea, and I felt like it was something that can benefit our community here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And when I came back, I said, okay, I'm going to create this vision board. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to go through all the magazines. I'm going to do this. And then you keep procrastinating. Because when you're at home, you find yourself doing everything else. All of a sudden, you have to wash this.
Yeah, you get distracted.
You get easily distracted. So it's not until we were in the heart of the hurricane season in 2017, when I was alone at home. There was no electricity. There was no internet. There was nothing at all. I would have already read the books that I wanted to read or, don't want to read again. And so I was like, this is the perfect time for me to do my vision board. I'm disconnected from the world and I can really zone in and focus on my goals. So that's when I did it. So I think, yes, we can say to everybody, create a vision board, but it's not until you're somewhat forced into an environment where you see other people creating your vision, their own vision boards, when you feel like, wow, let me take this time, this 2-3 hours or 3-4 hours to do this activity. Because if you leave it up to yourself, it's probably not going to happen. So the vision board party, it's a fun workshop, so please do not get sidetracked by the word party there. It's basically a fun workshop that allows persons to come together to create their vision boards. They're going to be motivational and inspirational speakers. You need to encourage people. You need to really create a hype.
Yes.
You need to motivate them in wanting to do this. And I hope to make this an annual event. But for this year, the theme is Dream Big, Set Goals, and Take Action. So not just dream and be limited, not just limit yourself to inter-primary or to, the inter-high championships here, but dream bigger than that. If you want to go to the Carifta Games, awesome, do that. Olympics, do not limit yourself. And I think in our community, sometimes we have a bit of a limited mindset, and it's unfortunate that that happens. So I'm really hoping that events like these would allow us to foster a larger mindset where we feel like we can do anything. Anything is possible once we put our minds to it. So it's dream big, set goals, and take action.
Awesome. So, therefore, with no doubt in our minds, we know that this event has to be something that will be June-tastic.
June-tastic. And I hope you're June enthusiastic for June.
I tried to do June-tastic. Yes, I was like.
In January, it was Jang-sighted.
Yes, it's going to be June-tastic. Yes, we're going to take a short break, Shelly,
Yes.
and we'll be right back.
Sounds good. Thank you.
From Queen City, Nevis, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, Vaughn Radio.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past this quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. There's storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Vaughn Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel. If you are not tuned, if you have your neighbors and you're not hearing their radio, call them up. If you know of anyone who's younger or older or anybody and everybody, call them up. send out a WhatsApp, a blast, whatever you need to do to let everybody know that at the Studios of Von Radio on Youth on the Go, we are June enthused because it's going to be a June-tastic month starting on the 1st of June. I am Zanella Claxton, and I have with me in the studio this morning
Shalicia Glassfern.
and Shalicia is here to share with us a bit about the upcoming Vision Board party. And if you missed the first part of the show, it is not a crazy fete. It is a fun workshop.
Yes.
And so, Shalicia, those persons who have been listening, I know that they're glued to their radios. They've already sent out their WhatsApp blasts
Yes,
and everything.
I hope
So everybody
so.
broadcasts it out, and everybody is now tuned in, and everybody's ready to be June enthused.
Wonderful.
And so, tell us a bit more about the event itself in terms of the venue, the target audience and age ranges, cost,
Yes.
if there is a cost attached, and how much it is, and timelines and all that. So let's get some of the logistics
The
out of the way, and then we can
logistics.
go back into excitement
Yes,
mode. We can be
also.
excited about logistics too, you know.
Yes, well,
Okay.
I am always excited. So whether it's logistics or something else. So as we were discussing previously, I'm going to be hosting a vision board party on the 1st of June. And it's going to be at Occasion. So everybody knows where Occasions is. I think that's a very common venue here on Nevis. And so it's going to be Saturday, 1st June at Occasions. So there are going to be 2 sessions, one for ages 12 to 17 and the other for ages 18 and above. Why? Because anybody at any age should be encouraged to dream big, set goals, and take action. We're never too young to dream big, and we're certainly never too old. Sometimes we feel like because we're already adults, we've accomplished certain things and that's it. But there's so much more that you can do. You have a lot of persons out there in the world who in their 60s would have gone back to school to accomplish certain goals that they weren't not able to have. So never feel like you're too old to accomplish your goals. So on Saturday, 1st June, the 2 sessions. The first session is going to start at 10 o'clock, and that's going to be for ages 12 to 17. I will be encouraging all of the attendees to arrive about 30 minutes before. I know here on St. Kitts and Nevis, sometimes we think when something is going to start at 10, it really means 10:30.
No, we think it means 12.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
12 as well. But I can guarantee you that it's going to be starting at 10 o'clock at 9:30. I'm encouraging all attendees to already be there because we're going to have our photo booth. So you want to come in and take some pictures, capture the moments, mingle, socialize, network with other people who are also there to dream big, set goals, and take action so that at 10 o'clock we're able to start on time. I know Saturdays, that's the day when most people are off, and so we really need to respect the time of other persons, the time of the attendees, and of course the time of the presenters as well. So the session is going to start at 10. And I believe the session should finish by 1:30. Based on the last event, it finished about 2 o'clock, and that's just because persons got so into their vision boards. And when it was time to wrap up their vision boards, nobody wanted to stop because, of course, you want to make sure everything is perfect. So I would say to cater from 10 to 2 o'clock, so you have a full 4 hours.
Yes.
And then in the afternoon now, that's when the big boys come and play. And so that's when we're going to have the adult session, and it's going to start at 4.
Okay.
So for adults, you have the entire day to do your chores, your laundry,
very
your
fair.
shopping and everything. And then at the end of the day, when you want to relax, you come into a nice atmosphere, a positive, vibrant, energetic environment, and you get ready to dream big, set goals, and take action. And again, I believe the time frame is going to be pretty similar, so I will say until about 8 o'clock. We should be finished by then. Of course, we know adults could be a little bit more detailed, so they may want to take a little longer to work on their boards, but that's generally the time frame of the event.
Nice. So, Shelley, there might be some people out there who are a bit skeptical. They're saying, my child could do this at home. Oh, what do they even know? What do my children even know about dream boards? They don't even know what they want. What are some of the areas? I know we talked about goal setting, but what's some of the areas that we typically see? And of course, we're not limited. This is not an exhaustive list. We know that there can be more things. But what are some of the typical areas that you would see, for example, in the teenagers group?
It's so interesting because in the previous event in St. Kitts, it was such an inspirational session where persons were not just saying, I want to be a teacher I want to be a doctor. You had a young lady who wanted to be a pastor. And that's something different. You don't really hear young persons wanting to be a pastor. And a part of the event as well is after you would have completed your vision boards, you have an opportunity to share it
Oh, wow.
with the audience. And so that helps you to build your confidence, your presentation skills. And apart from that, the moment you say to people, this is what you're going to do, you're somewhat indebted to do it.
Yes.
You know, if I come here and I say I'm having a vision board party on the 1st of June, no matter what I face between today and the 1st of June, I've already put it out there that's what I'm going to be doing. So no matter how challenging it gets, I still have to stick to it. And so we had persons there. There was a young lady, she's from St. Kitts, and she wants to be a fashion designer. But not just any fashion designer. She wanted to really cater to persons who are less fortunate, persons who can't afford clothing. So she said she wants to, they're going to they're going to have an outfit, for example, a jacket, and she's going to turn the jacket into something else. So it's not about you going and trying to purchase new clothes, but you're
Bringing
using
clothes.
what you have and trying to be creative
Enhance
with
it.
So these are some of the things that persons wanted to do. Persons wanted to become architects, and they can put literally anything on their vision boards. For persons who follow me on Facebook, you're more than welcome to go back onto my Facebook page, Shalicia T. Glassford, and I have 2 folders there from the photos from the vision board
Wow.
party, so you're able to see exactly the boards that persons would have created. I've shared a few videos as well, and you can see how excited these children are to share their dreams. And so that's also something I hope we would be able to have as well here in Nevis, that persons are not just hiding away in a little corner and saying, okay, I want to be a teacher, doctor, lawyer, or I want to work in hospitality, or I want to be a vet, but they are willing to stand up boldly and say, you know, this is what I want to do. These are the steps that I want to take in order to get there, and I'm encouraging all of you to do it as well.
Nice. All right. So, if the parents are not convinced as yet, they haven't gotten from the beginning of this show that we had set the tone, even
Yes.
with the Carifta athletes.
Yes.
That you have to set your goals.
Yes.
You have to dream big. And so I know sometimes there are children who say, I want to be, and we don't know what that term that they're using is all about. We've never heard of it. And we kind of try to kill it. Because we always embrace what we're comfortable with. We
Yes.
embrace what we know.
Yes.
And sometimes it stifles the ability to dream big. And so in the first instance, it's about encouraging
Yes.
the children and the adults, of course, to see beyond the norm and to think
Yes.
outside the box.
Exactly. As you're saying that, I recall my own experiences, and I've said this to many persons on a lot of different platforms. You know, I studied hospitality management. When I decided to do so, there were a lot of persons that were like, this is great, this is awesome, congratulations. They really saw the benefits in me doing that, especially because our society, our economical drive here is based on tourism. Like, if we take tourism out of the equation, our society is going to be doomed, economically speaking, at least. And so when I wanted to study hospitality, there were those persons who supported it. And then there were those persons who felt like I was too bright to
Yes.
study hospitality,
Yes.
and I should
Yes.
be studying to be a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse like my mother. And it just shows that, how, as you rightfully said just now, how persons can shatter the dreams of certain individuals. Because I am strong-headed in that way, you know, I'm very ambitious and I know exactly what I want, I was able to still stick through it. But I could imagine a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old who says, you know, I want to be a fashion designer. And we're like, well, why do you want to do that? Like, there's no money in that. But we're, again, limiting their beliefs and their goals. And that's something I'm hoping that events like this can change across the platform.
All right. And Shelley, we're going to take a short
Yes.
break. But before we break, we just want the audience to know that at any time, if you want to call in to ask any
Yes.
questions, you're free to. But we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Absolutely.
When VON vibrates, the whole Caribbean must shake.
860 AM, the Powerhouse.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past this quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. gather round, an adventure is always waiting. This storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Let's start the show. Youth on the go. Let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go! It's not even June, but we know that June will be June-tastic. And we're June excited because
We're June enthused.
woo, everything. We're just getting everything mixed up this morning, Shelly,
know.
and we love
At
it.
the end, we'll get it perfect.
We'll get it
Zanella.
perfect. All right. Welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go. I am Zanella Claxton from the Department of Education. And I have, of course, if you've been listening, Shalicia T. Glassford is in the studio. Shelly, we, at the bottom of the hour at the Youth on the Go, we always take a few moments out to say good morning to a very special lady. I know you're very special. We have another very special lady.
wow.
And I think this morning's show is right up her alley. I can hear her now. Talking about your visions, your dreams, setting your goals, making sure you work towards them, making sure that you are making conscious steps and effort. I mean, I can see her with her books and papers here, giving advice and picking a song that will motivate us to continue. Melissa, it's over to you.
And she would be loving every minute of this. Hi, Lee. Lee Paris came in London, England. Happy Saturday to you, Lee, and to your family and friends over there in England and here in Nevis. We are still praying for you. We are hoping that you stay safe and get better as soon as possible. And of course, from all of us here at the Eastern Caribbean Spa House, we want to say good morning, good day, whatever time it is up there in England. Happy Saturday from Zanella, from DeAndre. He's not here today, but that's okay. Sends his love. DeAndre, Vanny, and of course all of us, the rest of us here at the Eastern Caribbean Spa House. Special morning to DeAndre. Oh, we miss you. Back over to you.
All right. And Shelley, I don't know if you know Lee Paris
Yes.
Cambridge, but she is the ultimate dreamer, the ultimate goal setter, and the ultimate motivator.
Wow.
And so there is never an obstacle, there's never anything that is too big for her to pursue once she has conceptualized it.
Yes.
And so even and in the middle of any what other persons would view as obstacles and challenges, she views them as opportunities every single
Love it.
time. And I think of even when she was diagnosed with breast cancer initially, she worked on and creating Pink Lily out of it.
Yes.
And to provide support for other persons. That's a big dream.
Yes.
When you're in the middle of being not so well, you're thinking about helping other people. And it's been over 10 years. And they're still going strong because every single day the steps were purposed. She came back and she was working on getting persons involved in being able to build their self-confidence and get motivated and being able to function in the soft skills at the workplace, and really getting young people mobilized and seeing the best in themselves and valuing themselves. And she also is into fitness.
Yes,
And making sure that we understand the importance of working out, and no matter what, no excuses, and she would lead those charges. And then she went back after her second diagnosis, and she went into theater, and she started acting, even though she was, and so there's never anything that is too big for her. And so, and these are the kinds of things, like we said, that she would always put out there. And so this morning, I know she would have been the first signing up. Maybe she would have even been one of your facilitators and presenters and inspirational speakers, but that is just who Lee is. And so before the break, we were talking about the Vision Board Party, and we started off with dreaming big.
Yes.
And so once we've gotten the dream, the second important thing after that, after you have the big dream, the next thing is to
Set goals.
Okay. And so setting your goals makes your dream, helps you take steps to making your dream a
Yes.
reality.
That's correct.
And so what would you say to parents and, of course, adults,
Anyone.
anyone who is kind of still wondering, is this something I want to sign up for? Is this something I think can benefit my child or my neighbor or my cousin? Because you can sign anybody up if you think that they need it. What would you say to them in terms of the importance of after you have the dream? Because anybody can have a dream. Children have dreams at homes. Why is it important that after having the dream that you attend this party so that you can take the next step?
I think it's basically just as you say, anybody can have a dream, and we all have dreams. I think a lot of times here we decide, okay, we're dreaming big, we want to be a doctor, we want to go to the Carifta Games, or we want to study in a part of the world that is not that popular, which I decided to do in the past. And then that's what it is. It's just a dream. And there's a popular quotation. It says, a dream without a plan is just a wish. You know, and so we can encourage anybody to dream big. Absolutely. If you want to be the next prime minister, if you want to be the premier, if you want to run for any other government office, if you want to be, you know, a general manager of a hotel, absolutely dream big. Like, envision yourself there. But remember that it's not just about wanting to get there, but how are we going to get there? And I think sometimes we live in la la land and we think about all the things we want, but we forget that there are actually steps that we need to take to get there. And so I think attending an event like this will remind you, like, yes, be limitless, of course, think outside of the box, think beyond the horizon, but come together to learn how is it that you're going to put those dreams into an actual framework in order to actually accomplish that particular wish or dream at the end of the day. So I think persons coming there. I also believe that here in our society we don't have enough events like these. I think it's always two extremes. It's either a party where it's a fete, you know, we're jumping out, we drinking, or we're encouraging these types of things, or it's something super, super formal where now you're dressed out in fancy dresses.
You can't breathe.
You can't breathe, you're in heels, and then that's it. But it's like, what do you get out of those things? You know, you're either going to your super formal event, you take a selfie, you listen to maybe one or two speeches, maybe you're not even listening to the speeches, you're just there, or you go to a party, a fete, and I'm not against persons enjoying themselves, but at the end of the day, what do you get out of it?
The same
selfie. The same selfie. You get the same selfie, and you get to make a post, and you get to be a part of a hype. But how does that help you in life? How does that help you in accomplishing your goals? How does that help you to elevate in society and to elevate just in general? So I want to be able to host events of motivation, events to show persons that, you know, anything you want to do is possible. You're not just coming, we're not just going to this session, listening to a few speeches, eating some ice cream and going home. No, you're coming to this session and you're taking away something with you that constantly reminds you of the things that you want to achieve. And even though it's easy for us to say, oh, my child knows what he wants, is the child working towards achieving that? Is the person being constantly encouraged and reminded of the things that they want? And sometimes we like to put our dreams on other people. So I want this for my child, so this is what my child should want. Or I want this for my spouse or for my friend, and that's what the person should want. I want persons to come there being in a safe environment where they feel like anything that I want can happen, and let me learn how to facilitate that. So I really think that that's what people are going to get out of it at the end of the day.
All right, and you said some very key and important things, instructive things as well. There are many times that parents know what they want.
Yes.
As a parent, you want the best for your child every time. But it doesn't mean that what you want for your child, and especially when it comes to their careers,
Yes.
doesn't mean that that's what they want.
Yes.
As much as you love law and you are a lawyer, it doesn't mean that your child wants to be a lawyer. And I find that we're not as happy as we can be when we're not living our dreams. We're not living out and being able to take necessary actions to ensure that we really want, or we're doing what we want to do. And so I think that it's a safe space for the students. And I'm focused on the students for a bit because, you know, adults, you generally purpose in your heart what you want, and if you don't know, when you get there, you'll be inspired and you'll be motivated. And so if you don't know what you want, please come.
You can come too.
Yes, if you don't know what you want, if you don't have a big dream as yet, come, because at the end of the day, I'm thinking the motivational speakers, you might hear something, or someone sitting next to you might inspire you. And so if you feel like you're in a rut, If you feel like you're down and you don't know what to do next, please come to ensure that you have an opportunity to take advantage of this. But you talked about also the fact that sometimes people don't want to travel to destinations unknown.
Yes.
So there are two very important variables that often stop big dreams, often stops you from setting those goals, and then of course from taking action.
Yes.
Because you went off to uncharted territories. I don't know if anyone else. It would have been possible. Maybe somebody else did that, but you did a dual degree.
Yes.
Okay, and just for a few seconds, even though that's not our focus, if you can share with us a bit about that experience and how you went from dreaming, setting, to taking action, so that we can see it lived out.
Yes, absolutely. So dreaming big for me was in this situation or this example, not just going to a school that everybody else went to, not just following in those particular footsteps that were obvious in front of me. I wanted to take a risk. I wanted to ensure that when I do come back to St. Kitts and Nevis, I'm bringing something unique. And I'm also showing people that you can do these things. So I did apply to other schools. Like I did apply to schools in the Caribbean, schools in the US, because of course, even when you're dreaming big and setting goals, you still have to be realistic. So you have to make sure you're giving yourself some form of cushion. So just in case, they always say when you're trying to like throw something up to a tree, you throw it to the highest point, because if it drops, at least it drops maybe on the branches.
Yeah.
But if you just aim for the branches, it drops on the ground. So I wanted to make sure I aimed as high as possible. And so many persons would know by now that I decided to study in Switzerland. At the time, I knew nobody else that studied in Switzerland. It was basically just a series of activities how I even learned about the school, and I decided to go there, and I do not regret it at all. I studied hospitality management, and I studied in a school with like 350 students, very small environment, over 60 different nationalities, and being able to have that exposure every single day to those different types of environments and nationalities and cultures really helps you in your careers, because in hospitality we're always dealing with persons from different walks of life. And so had I not dreamt big at that point, I'm not saying I would not have gotten a degree, because of course you can get a degree anywhere, but I would not have gotten that type of experience that I really feel helps me to be more competitive in the job markets today. So that's just how I have decided to tread my destiny, and I really hope other persons will do the same. We have other persons now studying in Taiwan, but I also know there are so many scholarships out there for persons to go into so many different parts of the world, free scholarships that would allow you to not have a student loan today, and you would really appreciate that.
You would.
And people decide not to go because they don't know the place, they don't know anybody there. And again, we're limiting ourselves in those particular dreams. And so I really hope maybe somebody who comes to the event, maybe there's a scholarship to go someplace else, and they've been thinking about it for a while, and now they feel like, wow, this person went to Switzerland, she knew nobody, but she was still able to be successful. And God is so good. He places people in your life, regardless of where you are on the planet. He places people in your life because you're favored, and you stay in his will as well. So I think that it's important for persons to sometimes don't follow the status quo and think outside of the box and try to tread your own destiny as well.
Awesome. So, inspiring young lady, and at no point did you allow what any perceived, as I said, obstacle, anybody else could have been daunted and stopped. But you see, when you dream and then you set your goal and you start taking your steps because you're focused on something,
Yes.
it's so much easier for you to achieve it. Everybody who knows me knows I'm a Stephen Covey fan, and 7 Habits of Highly Effective
I have
People.
that book as well.
Oh, yeah. All about setting goals and dreaming and knowing, of course, making sure they take action. But there are several things that he always postulates that have to be done in order for you to be able to be successful and effective. But my favorite, as everyone who knows me knows, is habit 2, which is begin with the end in mind.
Yes.
You have to know where you want to go.
Yep.
And I was in church once, and the pastor, of course, it's in the U.S. context, but I also try to use it in our context sometimes. If you are destined or you purpose in your mind, I'm going to Mexico. and you get on the plane, which you know wouldn't happen because you have to have your boarding pass and you go through 100 security checks. But somehow you get on a plane and the plane is taking you to Russia. And your ticket is for Russia and all of your connecting flights are taking you to Russia because you didn't make sure that you bought your ticket. You didn't set your goal to Mexico. I want to go to Mexico. You didn't make sure that you checked your boarding pass, and you just got on a flight. Or if you go to the airport, you want to go to Mexico, and you just go to the airport and you sit there and you say, "I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to Mexico." You never buy a ticket. You never get onto a plane. You never pack a suitcase. But you go. You never make sure you have hotels booked. Nothing is done.
Yeah.
But you want to go to
But you want to
Mexico.
go.
And so these are things that beginning with your end in mind. If you know where you want to go, you will take every step to get there. And so I can throw in the 7 Habits. You can read that as well. It's always fun. And they have the children's version and they have the youth version. So that's something that we can look into. But Shelley, one might ask, how does this entire event play into education?
Yes.
How does it help to enhance one's educational experience? And why do we think, even that, because Mr. Barrett also said, this is a good idea. So we've already discussed it. Why do we think that this is an activity that our students and, of course, our adults and supporting cast can benefit greatly from? How does it enhance your educational experience?
Absolutely. First of all, if we look back at primary school, you start out primary school, you get to grade 5 or get to grade 4, and you're already thinking about high school. What's the goal in high school? Most of the time, I want to go to 1A1, right? That's a goal. So it's important to not only think about goals in terms of what you want to do career-wise, but every single day of our lives, we should be able to set goals for ourselves. And I always use this example where I say that even the most trivial thing as getting up in the morning and planning out your day. So if you just get up on a Saturday and you're going to say, okay, I just want to go out there and have a productive day. You have chores, but you don't plan how you're going to get your chores done. I'm just going to take out the trash whenever. I'm just going to do my laundry whenever. At the end of the day, you're going to have a very unproductive day. And so the same thing in school. If you don't think about the end result, as you just rightfully said, if you don't think about, I want to go to 1A1, or I want to go to, I want to remain in the A1 stream in high school, or I want to get 90% or 100% on a test. In every single facet in our lives, whether it's educationally speaking or otherwise, it's always important to set a goal. And I think sometimes in our society, as I said before, we're a lala society. The wind blows this way, we go on this side. The wind goes the other way, the wind blows on the other side, and we go on that side as well. And so a lot of times we're just swingers. And I think an activity like this can help the educational system in terms of ensuring that persons have actual game plans in mind in order to be their best self possible. So me being my best self possible in school would be making sure that I am doing better on this test than how I did on the one before. Not necessarily competing with Zanella, but making sure that I am becoming the best version of myself every single day. And that means I'm going to make a game plan. When I go home, I want to study, I want to revise my work, I want to not just wait until the teacher gives me an assignment, but I want to already go ahead and start reading up on activities. And so I think in general, it's just to remind persons that in every single thing that we're going to do, it's important to have some form of game plan. No matter how trivial it is or no matter how grand it is. Educationally speaking, you make a plan in high school, primary school, you make a plan until the end of your career. You want to become a doctor, how are you going to get there? You need to first succeed here in high school, then maybe sixth form,
Pick the right subjects.
pick the right subjects, things like that. You
Clubs,
don't just
activities,
exactly.
Community service. What aligns you to your end goal?
Yeah, you're not arbitrarily choosing random things. No, you're being very intentional, right? And I think this will remind people that, hey, I want to get this, so I need to do A, B, and C in order to get to D. I'm not just randomly choosing things, and I think sometimes we don't think like that.
All right, so we went through a lot, and I want to reiterate that the event is slated to take place at occasions.
Yes.
And it's going to be on June 1st.
Yes.
And we have two sections. The 12 to 17-year-olds will have their session from 10 a.m., but they should be there at 9:30.
Yes.
And the 18 and over, after you've done all your chores, I'm just repeating everything you said. After you've done, see, I've listened.
Yes,
I passed the test. After you've done all of your chores, get there by about 3:30, so
Yes,
we can have a
3:30.
4 o'clock prompt start. For those who are wondering, what is the cost of the event? Any of that very important information, the cost, how they can pay, where they can pay, how they can get, are there physical tickets, anything along that line. And then I know that you also want to give away a ticket, so maybe we should do the ticket giveaway while we're waiting for the callers, we can give the information about the cost.
Absolutely. So in terms of pricing, there are 3 different pricing strategies for the event. There's an early bird special, then there's regular registration, and then there's late registration, because I know sometimes in our society we wait until last minute. So I'm really hoping that persons, because there's an additional amount for late registration, persons would feel more inclined to want to register early. So the early registration period ends on the 30th of April, so that's on Tuesday. So you have a few days still. You can think about it tomorrow. You have up until midnight on Tuesday in order to do so. The early bird special is until April 30th, and if you're an adult, you're going to pay $80. So if you register between now and April 30th, it's $80. If you are between 12 and 17, if you register between now and Tuesday, it's going to be $60. So that's the most economical aspect of it, the most economical price range. If it is that you wait until the 1st of May, up until the 18th of May, there's going to be an increase of $10. So if it is that you're 12 to 17, you're no longer paying $60, but $70. If you are an adult, you're no longer paying $80, but you're paying $90, and that's going to be right up until the 18th of May. Anything after the 18th of May, but before the 25th of May, which is the final day to register, is going to be an additional increase in $10. There are a lot of things that have to be put in place for the event, and so when persons wait until sort of last minute, it places additional pressure on the different vendors that are involved in ensuring that the event is effective and successful. So basically, there are 3 different time frames. You can either register up until the 30th of this month, which allows you to save $10, so $60 for teenagers, $80 for adults. Up until the 18th of May would be $70 for teenagers and $90 for adults. And then if you wait until the 25th, wait until the 25th, but after the 18th, so the 19th to the 25th, there's an additional $10 as well. In terms of how you can register, so we live in a very tech-savvy environment, and so I really wanted to maximize that as well. There is an app called JAD. I'm not sure how familiar we are in our Univision community of JAD. I know we're very familiar with CarryPay, but they're basically the same thing. So it's a cashless system. However, you don't necessarily need to have the app to register. There is a registration link that's available on all of the posters, also on my Facebook page as well. And you can just simply click it. There's a registration form. It's going to ask you your name. It's also going to ask you who would have referred you to the event, because the person who refers the most persons to the event, they're also going to receive a special prize on the day of the event. So it's very, very simple. It takes just about maybe 3 minutes for you to complete the registration form online. However, I know that sometimes we're not too inclined to want to utilize the technology. People are a bit sensitive when it comes to their card information, so that's absolutely okay. I have physical registration forms. My cousin Vinell Powell, she has those registration forms, or I can send them to you in an email, and persons can just print them and then give it to Vinell as well. So she'll be here, and she is more than happy to accept the payment and accept the registration forms, and then she'll just pass them over at her convenience as well. So you can either sign up with the JAD app and pay via JAD, utilizing the website, or you can pay with physical cash as well.
All right. Ask your question, because we have 5 minutes. We're going to ask a quick question. I know that people were listening, so I know that they should be able to get a ticket. I would want to win a ticket. So I'm going to turn over to you for the question, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay, so the question is very, 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 very simple. It actually has 3 parts to it. And if you were listening very carefully, you would know the answers to all 3. So the first part, so 1A, what is the theme for this year's Vision Board Party? B, what is the hashtag being used to promote the event for June? And C, what was the previous hashtag for the event in January. So I know Zanella would have mentioned it earlier. So if you were really listening, you would know. So 3 things: the theme for the event, the hashtag that we're currently using for the Nevis edition, and the hashtag that would have been used in St. Kitts.
All right. And so the numbers to call: 469-1616, 469-1700. In case you're calling from a landline and you have some difficulties, call from a cell phone and you should be able to get in. That is in the event that you're having issues with a landline. Know that you can call from a cell phone and get in: 469-1616, 469-1700. Now, in the spirit of setting visions dreaming, setting goals, taking action,
Yes.
and giving your vision board and creating the vision board party and all of that spirit, and in the spirit of helping us to create and to be in the right atmosphere and setting our minds towards the future. I mean, that's a lot of things. But in the spirit of all that, I want to also let everyone know that for those of you who are at home, Shelley talked about her vision and her dream to work in the hospitality industry. Those who have the vision and the dream to become a teacher, we have an announcement for you, because we are opening applications for the prospective teachers course on May 1st. May 1st, we have the application process starts, and it closes on May 30th. So we're going to go to the lines. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I'm calling to answer the question asked.
Okay, go right ahead.
The theme for this year is Dream Big, Set Goals, Take Action. The hashtag currently used is June Infused, and hashtag used earlier this year was I'm Jan Excited.
Woo! Congratulations, caller. What is your name?
My name is Jacinda Ireland.
Congratulations, Cindy. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
All right, so you know how to find Shelley, and Shelley knows how to find you.
Yes, I'll find you.
Yes. But Shelley, please give your number for those persons who are listening.
Absolutely.
And congratulations, Cindy.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Congratulations again, Cindy. And for the listening public, my number is 669-4923. So that's 669-4923. Easily accessible on my cell phone, also on WhatsApp, Facebook as well. And so there are multiple ways in order for somebody to get in contact with me should that be necessary.
All right. So as part of their vision board, I know that some persons are going to come because they would have already submitted their prospective teachers course form. So that will be part of their vision board. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Their life as a teacher. Once again, applications open on May 1st, and
yes.
the process closes out on May 30th.
Their whole month.
They have a whole month.
Yes.
However, we want to ensure and want to encourage everyone to get in early, because we will cap off. We want to make sure that we get the applications done, processed, and that we get a response to you. And the best way to do that is to set your goals and make sure that you're early with the entire process. So for those persons who have been asking and those who have been calling the office, you can collect your packets at the Department of Education on Marion Heights on May 1st. If you come prior to that, the application process opens on May 1st, so you come in on May 1st. And so we want to make sure that everyone is aware of that. And once again, before we wrap up, you have refreshments available as part of the party.
I was just about to give one
Yes,
last
like one
snapshot
quick
there of everything. So again, the event is on Saturday, June 1st, 2019. 2 sessions, 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock. 10 o'clock for ages 12 to 17, 4 o'clock for ages 18 and above. Persons will be expected to arrive 30 minutes before, so that way they can take photos. We're going to have a photo square, a selfie square, a photo booth. We're going to make sure it's very, very fun. We have motivational speakers that are not going to be speaking for more than 15 minutes, so don't worry. You don't have to stay there all day to listen to anything that's boring. The speakers were, they were chosen because I believe that these are persons that have stories to share. These persons are excited about life. They're able to connect with the different audiences that they have. And of course, we will have an inspiration break, which means that we're going to also have refreshments. There's going to be all the materials needed for the creation of your vision board. So you basically just have to show up. You don't have to worry about anything. Of course, if you have have any photos that you want to bring to make your vision board, any magazines that you have, you can bring it as well. But everything is going to be there for you. Just show up with an open mind and a mindset to dream big, set goals, and take action.
All right. Thank you very much. And we'll catch you next week. Until then, have a very pleasant and wonderful week.
And stay tuned, enthused.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You